Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today's topic is highly official. It's related to business communication, and this is the part one of this topic that I will cover related to official or business communication. It is memo writing. So this memo writing, what it is and how it is written. Now I'm going to take you to the learning objectives of the session. uh, in which we will see that first I will tell you that what is the etymology or origin, what is the meaning and pronunciation of this word, what is the purpose of memo writing. Then I have given over here the format or the parts or the structure of a memo. Some characteristics have also been listed. And finally, a few samples of a memo I will share with you so that you should have idea. Though this will not be a detailed session on memo writing, because I believe that memo is something at this stage of your second semester it should not have been included, because it is highly impractical at the moment. Had you been in seventh or eighth semester, then of course it would have been more useful, because after that most of the people, they join jobs, they try to do the jobs, or they have at least the idea which place they have to work, and then when you reach that place where you serve, there you require this memo writing, and that too not very often. I mean, not everybody writes memo, but still, if it is part of our course, we have to touch upon that topic. But I just want to give you an idea over here, so that you should not be blank about it, right? So let me take you to something about its origin. Now, the word is from Latin, and it is actually, its full name is memorandum. See, memorandum. And see how it has come into English language. Now it is used same in the same way it is used in English language. It means to be remembered. This is its literal meaning, to be remembered. Just like we say the word memory. Now this also has almost the same root. So memory, memoriam, memorial, memento. Now you see, they have almost the same roots which are related to remembrance. See? So the plural of this word is memoranda. Now this is the Latin plural. Usually whenever any Latin word, it ends at um, its plural is mostly a at the end. See, just like we say that forum and then fora. See, stadium, then stadia. See, so this is how the same way it is also from Latin, and it is memorandum singular and plural is memoranda. Memoranda. Let's talk about its pronunciation and meaning now. Um, memorandum is a noun, and you see that I have not this time mentioned what is British pronunciation and what is American pronunciation. Reason that it has the same pronunciation in both these language varieties, and by now probably you are aware that these are the pronunciation symbols that we have within slanting lines, two slanting lines at the end. And how it is pronounced? It is me, m. This is schwa sound, which is pronounced as a. So me, random. Now this symbol is a symbol, a sound. So so you see, random. This sound and this sound, they are the same. Upside down E, which is pronounced as a, and it is called schwa, schwa, the shortest vowel sound in English phonetics. So it is memorandum. Look at the stress where it falls. It falls here on this syllable, ran. So it will be pronounced as memorandum. I hope so now you can pronounce it. And the short form of this word is memo, which mostly it is pronounced as such. Hardly anybody is going to pronounce it as memorandum. It's exactly when I was teaching you CV, I had told you over there that hardly anybody would pronounce it as curriculum vitae. Mostly it is its short form is in vogue, and it is pronounced as CV. Same way, it's always the short form which is in fashion, that is like memo, or plural is memos. The meaning of this term is, it is the general meaning. It is not specific meaning, it's the general meaning that something to be remembered, a note of something to be remembered for future reference or consideration. Now, these are somehow the two meanings, the general meanings, but the technical or the specific meaning, according to the business communication, what it means. So, first 2 points that I'm going to tell you, they are going to be the specific definition of it. So, look at this. What kind of a document is it? It's a type of formal writing in official or business communication. So this has everything to do with business communication. It has nothing to do in academic setting, I told you earlier. So it is a formal writing that this memo refers to. So this is another and very special and focused definition of memo, that it is a short and direct, specially formatted, semi-formal or informal, intra-office or intra-organization written communication. Kindly focus on this red color. The whole red color, it is a technical and a very to the point definition of a memo, along with its purpose. And the purpose is going to come in the next line, that it is written by the employees of the business to what? To share information with each other. Now, this is the overall a concise and to the point definition as well as purpose of memo writing, that it is used, or it is written to share information with each other. Well, now look at this prefix intra. Intra means within. So this is something that has to be circulated within that organization or office, not outside that organization or company or office. Plus, you will see that it is a written communication. It has nothing to do with oral. Memo is never oral. It's a written document. See, just like email or whatever letters we write, they are written communication. So mostly this course is related with written communication. It is not related to oral communication. See, let's get to now the purpose in detail, that it is written for, number one, making announcements related to the company or organization. Number two, it is related with discussion on procedures or policies of that particular organization. Number three, it is also required for making a report on company activities. And number four, it is about it is used, or it has the purpose of circulation of information related to employees. So you need to take into account all these things that I have mentioned over here, that this is the purpose of memo writing or memorandum writing. See, that it is used for making written for making announcements, for discussing procedures or policies, or making a report on company activities, or circulating employee information. Now, these are the purposes for which a memo can be written. But you have to remember one thing, since memo writing is meant to be read by everyone in the organization, that's why if there is something confidential to communicate, you do not do it through memo. Memo has nothing to do with confidential information. It is something which every employee of the organization is supposed to read. So we need to take care of this fact, that it is not related with any confidential information. Let's get to the format or the parts or structure of a memo. It has a simple format. It does not have any kind of intricacies in it. There are just 5, 6 steps or 5, 6 things which are included in writing a memo. Their order can be different. I mean, sometimes one thing can be written at this number, and then the other thing can be written on that number. That can be a difference. Steps can be written on different places, but these steps are always there in a memo. Now, what are these parts? Usually we see that at the top of that document, there is usually the word memo, or some organizations write the full term and they write memorandum, and it is always at the top. Now, it can be at the top left side also, and in the center as well, but it has to be at the top before anything else can be written. It is memo or memorandum is written over there, right? Then we see that the next line has to. To means that it is addressee's address or addressee's position or designation, that it has to be written over there. So to means that it has to be for someone who is going to receive it, recipient. It is for the recipient. That, so please focus on the red colors. Now these are basically the steps. Then we see that there is from line, again from the sender, from the person who is sending. His designation is going to be written, and then there will be date. Well, now this is where I wanted to tell you that somewhere in some of the memos, the date line is right at number 2. Means that it is written before the 2 line. See, but again, there is a flexibility in this matter. There is a flexibility, right? Then there will be a subject line. Subject is always must. If I ask you to recall the basic steps of a formal letter, you will find out that subject line after salutation, before salutation, yes, before salutation there is a subject line, and that subject line actually it helps in giving the crux of the whole that agenda that is written in that letter or in the memo. So subject line is always important step for the formal writing. If you are writing a formal email, if you're writing a formal letter, if you are writing a job application, cover letter, whatever you call it, there will always be a subject line. The same case, that subject line will be here in memo as well. And then there is going to be the actual body of the message. Now these are the most important steps, though these steps may have variation. As I already told you, that a date line can be shifted to number 2. See, well, this step that are now number 7, this is reference initials. Now this is an optional step. What is reference initials? That here the person who types the memo, he can or she can give the initial letters of his or her name. For example, somebody's name is Hira Ali. Now, if she is typing, she has typed it, or if she is the one who has handled this memo, so it will be H-A, Hira Ali, small letters, mostly they are written. See, I will give you the example and you will understand. And we see that most of the times, we see that the organizations or companies, they usually write memos on the printed, on their printed, you can say that letterhead, on which there is the company name and logo. Both these things are already mentioned, and usually it is to the rightmost side, these logos or company's name. But again, there can be the flexibility in this. It can be in the top middle also, the top center also. So most of the times we see that the company or the organization has its logo or its name mentioned over there. Okay, right. Now this is just one of the samples, just quickly to have the idea. Let's see here. Look, here the date is at number 3. And they have not written over here the word memo or memorandum, but it is mostly written. And this part, if you broadly distribute it into parts, then it should have the three parts. How? Because heading would include all this one, two, three, four things, they come usually in heading. But we have given it separate names. We have said that it is to, it is from, it is date, it is subject. See? And everything is mostly to the leftmost side, leaving one line, one line space after each step, that to, from, date. Usually in letter, we do not leave a space between. This is considered to be one step, where we have addressee's address, then line, then from. But here you don't have to go into the detail. Reason? Because this is intra-office communication. We already know the address of that person. Sender and the recipient both are from the same organization, from the same office, from the same company. See? So that's why it is not required. So here you see to, and then Terrell Middle School teachers. Now this memorandum is basically for the school teachers who are given some information. And from Dr. Burke. Now whosoever is Dr. Burke, he could be the principal of that school, that organization, that institution, headmaster, whatever his position is, but he is somebody in the high position. And date, of course, and look at this. This is how the date is in the modern way written, that first month, then day, then comma, and then year. Now subject, it's not underlined, but somewhere it can be underlined. And it is second 9 weeks exam schedule. See? So this is the agenda, in a way you can say. This is how the subject tells us what actually the whole memorandum is about. Now, very quick, brief, short, crisp, to the point. There are no courtesies, there are no niceties. It's not that I hope my letter or my memo finds you in the best of your health. No, you don't have to. You don't have to say any salutation. You don't have to write that dear colleagues. No, it is not required. Come to the point quickly. And this is the time for second 9 weeks exam is fast approaching. Please adhere to the schedule below to administer the exam for your class. Now here 1, 2, 3, whatever the person wanted to tell. And now this is reference initials. This is what I was pointing out, that somebody who had typed this memo, his name starts with, first name starts with L and second name starts with W. And that's what is considered to be reference initials. Somewhere reference initials are in small letters, somewhere they're in capital letters, but they are usually given. But somewhere they are not given to. Again, it's optional, if you remember what I had told you in the steps. So generally speaking, heading includes 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Then there is body and then reference initials. So broadly speaking, 3 parts. But I gave you 6 to 7 parts. I did not give you the overall, you can say, structure. I try to take you to the basic steps that are there, right? There are some characteristics of a memo which are usually found in every memo. Starting from number 1, that memo is always, as I told you, that it is always in the written form. Memo can never be in the oral form. See? So it's a written communication. So it has to be in the written form. Number 2, it has to be short and crisp. Short and crisp because it is a quick way of disseminating or circulating information. One does not have time to go on and on and on. Sometimes it might have 2 to 3 paragraphs, but those paragraphs are very short. Most of the times there is one paragraph. It can have 2 or 3 paragraphs, but again, these paragraphs are not the long 6-7 lined paragraphs. They are 2 to 3 lined paragraphs in which the important point, and points are usually mentioned. Paragraphs are usually made from the point of view of the most important to least important. Means if there are 3 pieces of information given, it had to be written in memo, then the most important or immediate information will be in the first paragraph. Second paragraph will have second most important, and third paragraph will have the third most important. So it means that the order, the structure, the sequencing of paragraph has to be as per the importance of information. Most important will be at number 1. Okay. Look at number 3. It is direct and straightforward. Direct and straightforward means that you are not required to have any kind of background building up. You don't have to create any introductory background to it. It has to have the to the point, whatever one has to say, it has to be for that reason. Because on daily basis, there are many memos which are circulated by an organization. So it's kind of like it's exactly I can give you an example that if we live in a family and if I have to call a meeting of my children, so I am not going to every time would be very courteous all the time and would be talking in detail. I would come straight away. I would say that everybody has to come down and have a session on or a discussion on this topic. And so I don't need to go into the details of the things. It's just like I have to point out and everybody is going to be there. So number 4, this is related with number 3 in a sense that this C of courtesy of communication skills, it is not going to come over here. There are no niceties, there are no courtesies involved over here. You can't say, you can't write that I'm happy to see you here, or I will be delighted that if you all get collected at this venue, this. No, you are not required to do so. Come straight away to the point without having any elaborated courtesies or niceties or pleasantries kind of things. Number 5, you don't have to use any emotional language. I mean, you don't have to use any kind of even those interjections or emotions or nothing. It has to be straight away a piece which talks on the agenda, and then that's it. Okay. And finally, it is a semi-formal. It has a semi-formal or informal tone. It is not highly formal because I told you that it is used for the intra office or within that office. And you see that within office people do not have that those kinds of formalities. See, so that's why it is usually a semi-formal or informal piece. The tone has to be somewhere in between the formal and the informal. It has to be somewhere in between that. But there is something you have to remember, that the format of the memo should generally stay. Most of the times format is the same. Format means that they do have those steps, all of them. They are there in almost all the memos. But something which is different is, or it keeps changing, is the tone and the content. Tone means sometimes it is used for one purpose, sometimes it is used for the other purpose. So tone changes according to the nature of memo. See, and content means whatever you write, it changes according to the requirement. And an example in this regard I have quoted here, that a memo about organizing a summer picnic for the staff, like in a school situation or college situation, if the principal has to circulate a memo about organizing a summer picnic. Picnic is a time for enjoyment, a recreation. Then its tone is going to be somehow lighter, cheerful probably. It will have a much more cheerful tone than a memorandum informing everyone that the company has to skip raises due to a decrease in business. For example, there is another memo in which the boss has to tell his employees that this time, due to insufficient funds in the company cannot increase the salary of the employees. Now tell me, in this case, will the tone of the person be cheerful? Of course not. It will be serious, because nobody is going to welcome this. It has to be something that is quite a serious thing, and you can't be cheerful about it. See, so tone can change according to the content that has to be circulated. Okay, now I will take you to a few samples. They don't look at the words, look at the overall layout, the structure, and the way it is written. See this in the sample number 1. We can see that here on the rightmost corner, it is the logo of the company. That company name is Craftsman Solutions, CS, the logo of that. And then the company's, the whole address, it is written over here. Now this is something which will come before the heading. Okay, so this is a kind of a letterhead. Letterhead means that the specially printed letter pads which has the company's logo or company's address over here. Now this is kind of a paper already printed with this. Now you see its leftmost side, this company has used the term memo, not memorandum. So the short form of that, see, it is written to. After memo it is written to, then from, then here number, that number 4 is the date, then subject. See, so, and then after this there is going to be 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. There is no salutation, it's direct address. So starting January 1, we will introduce the following modifications in our company policy in regard to with regard to annual leave. Every year, one employee from each department will be awarded special annual bonus leave for outstanding performance. Second important thing, the eligible employees will have additional 5 days of annual leave credited on January 15. The bonus leave will be accounted for separately and will remain available until used, notwithstanding any other limitation of the total number of days of annual leave that may be carried forward. And last paragraph, we will have a meeting on December 15 at 10 a.m. to discuss the results of the 2006 performance evaluation and approve the final list of employees eligible for the bonus. The announcement to the employees will follow the meeting. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know before the meeting. Okay, see this? Now this is how the 3 paragraphs have been made, in which we see that mostly you can say that there is a kind of impersonal tone has been kept, means there is no sentiment over here, no emotion involved over here, direct announcement, there is no salutation, there is no closing, and there is no overwording, what you can say. It's not verbosity at all. So this is how, coming straight to the point, this memo is there. There is another now example, another sample. Here, no company logo. Again, this is something that is optional. The word memorandum instead of memo, which is in the middle. Now to, from, here one thing is CC. CC means carbon copy. Now this is something added. It means that this person, Karen Moore, wants Mr. John Sakazaki to be part of, or he's also going to be sent the copy of this memo. See, so this is something added. CC means carbon copy. Now this is actually in email also we have this term CC and BC. That is a blind copy and this is the carbon copy. Now date is mentioned over here, then subject, and quickly we come to know it is about customer presentation, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is going to be the agenda, and agenda is number 1 paragraph. See, the paragraphs are so short, they are 2 lines, 2-lined paragraphs. Rather, it's a 1 sentence in in a paragraph. The JSKL marketing presentation you prepared last week to showcase our new product line was exceptional. Your enthusiasm, sales strategy, and product knowledge were impressive and certainly sealed the deal with Mr. Lockhart. Thank you for your outstanding work and dedication. Bonus checks will be distributed next week. My sincere congratulations to all of you. Right. Now look at this. It has a very cheerful tone. And how we get to know it is cheerful, you will find out that exclamation marks are there. And look at the word like thank you for your outstanding work. My sincere congratulations to all of you. So this boss is very happy. And he is praising his staff. So this memorandum is because of that. Okay, now the tone is cheerful. It's more cheerful than the previous one. And this is the sample again. It's the last sample. Now again, this is similar to the previous one, that memorandum. See, somewhere it is written in small letters, somewhere it is written with capital letters, somewhere it is written to the leftmost side, somewhere it is written in the center of of this line. Look, these are basically the variations, or these are the flexibilities that one has to keep. So there is no hard and fast rule about it. But this memorandum or memo word will be found out on the document. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that I had mentioned, they will be there. Now here there is something that we find, that date is at the top. Now this I told you earlier that it can be so. So date is here, then of course to all employees, then from, and these are the people from whom has been sent. This person, he's the director, and subject is James Rich's retirement party. Now this retirement party, and then he talks to his people and says that we are writing to inform you of a retirement party for James Rich from the marketing department. We invite you to join us in celebrating the contribution that James has made to our company throughout the year. The party will be held at Golden Coral on Friday, November 4, 2016 at 6 p.m. Dinner will be provided by the company. Please RSVP. RSVP means it's a French expression, but on cards we do find it. Probably we just know that it means reply, please. But it is from, it's a French, is abbreviation of the French expression, and it is répondez s'il vous plaît. Répondez s'il vous plaît, which means reply if it pleases you. So please, RSVP means répondez s'il vous plaît, means reply if it pleases you, to decameronbusinesscompany.net by 4 p.m. on Tuesday, November 1, 2016. So to the point, so direct, and this is how the third sample finishes. I'm grateful that you people have paid attention to it. Thank you for watching and listening. I'm going to, inshallah, tell you what is going to be the part 2, that is minutes of meeting. And till then, Allah Hafiz, stay blessed.